Welcome students. Welcome to the second part of the video, the Indian Parliament. We have already learned in the first video, we have learned about the parliamentary system of government which is followed in India. We have learned about presidential system of government which is been followed in America, United States of America. Then in the previous video we have seen that the members to the legislature at the national level, that is the level of the central government, is called parliament. In parliament there are two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and we are having the head of the state or head of the country, president, which is inseparable part of the parliament. He or she cannot directly participate in the discussion of either of the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Then we have seen in detail about the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is the House of Representatives. Here the members are directly elected by the people. That's why it is called the first house. Then we have also seen that the members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from the territorial constituencies, and elections are held after every 5 years. Then we have seen, as per the constitution, there are maximum number of 552 members in the Lok Sabha, and if all the sections are not being represented in the Lok Sabha, so in order to give equal representation, some seats are reserved for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. Some seats are reserved for Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha, where the president appoints the two members from the Anglo-Indian community. Then we saw Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha, the composition of Rajya Sabha, it is said 250 members, out of which 238 are elected from the constituent states and union territories. It is also said that remaining 12 members out of 250, 238 are elected from the constituent state and union territories. 12 members are appointed by the president. Usually they are the people from distinguished personalities from various fields like literature, art, science, sports and social work. And it is also said that Rajya Sabha is never dissolved, so it is called as a permanent house. Now why it is called a permanent house? The answer was given. 1/3 of the total membership of the Rajya Sabha, who has completed the tenure of 6 years, retire after every 2 years. An equal number of new members are elected. So my dear students, we have seen about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now let us see the functions of the parliament. Now when I speak about functions of the parliament, after understanding the basics of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, let us review the function of the parliament. The first function is formulation of law. It is very clear. The first function of the parliament is they have to pass the laws so that they can achieve the welfare of the masses or of the people. It is laid down in the constitution. The parliament has to formulate new laws And if there are any outdated laws which need to be renewed, the need of change, they need a change, then what they do, they formulate new laws that keeps up with the time. So this is the first function of the parliament, that is formulation of laws. What is the second function? The second function is very simple. The control over council of ministers. The prime minister and the council of ministers are drawn from the parliament, and the parliament exercise control over them. There are multiple ways through which this control can be exercised. It is the responsibility of the parliament to see that the council of ministers does not disregard the parliament and the functions under its supervision. It's very simple. That is, the prime minister and the council of ministers are controlled by the parliament. They have to maintain the decorum of the house. They have to look after the self-esteem of the other members, and they have to speak. Because the person is a prime minister, he cannot go according to his whims and fancies. Or if a person is a council of minister who is very prominent one, he cannot go according to his whims and fancies. He has to go according to the laws stated by the parliament. And the last function, it's very simple, amendment to the constitution. The parliament decides whether to make any amendments to the Indian constitution. The constitution amendment bill is considered to be an important bill. The parliament discusses why the amendment is required and decides whether to accept it or not. The constitution mentions various ways of amending the constitution. There are various ways, my dear students. The first one, few provisions in Indian constitutions are amended by simple majority of the parliament, with a simple majority, maybe 1/3 or 2/3 of the majority. Second provision is, some provisions requires special majority, 2/3 of the parliament. And the third option is, few other provisions are amended by special majority plus consent from more than half of the constituent states. So these are the three major functions of the parliament. One, formulation of law for the welfare of the masses. Control over the council of ministers, because prime minister and the council of ministers are drawn from the parliament, and the parliament exercises control over them. And last but not the least, the amendment of the constitution. If the laws doesn't suit to the time, they have to amend the law. Now, my dear students, these are the functions of the parliament. Now, this leads to the next topic, that is the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, when I speak about Speaker of Lok Sabha, always remember there is somebody to control the discipline of the house. It is none other than the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Just like in a school, in a class, there is a teacher, and the class teacher is responsible to see that her class is disciplined. The principal is responsible to see that the school is running in a smooth way. So, let me speak in detail about the Speaker of Lok Sabha. In the very first meeting After the election of the Lok Sabha, the member of the Lok Sabha elects a speaker and a deputy speaker. Lok Sabha functions under the guidance and the control of the speaker. That means the speaker have full control over the house. He is the master of the house. Lok Sabha represents the citizen and the speaker represents Lok Sabha. After getting elected as a speaker, following things, the speaker has certain duties to perform. The first duty, he or she has to conduct the business of the house. That's the first duty. Second duty is he or she should be working in an unbiased manner. Third, Lok Sabha member have some rights and privileges as a representative of the people. These has to be taken care of by the speaker. Apart from this, speaker has to maintain the decorum and the dignity of the house, as well as interpret the rules of daily functioning of the house and work accordingly. Now, my dear students, in the same way we find it in Rajya Sabha. In a Rajya Sabha, we don't say a speaker. We say that there is a chairman and a deputy chairman. Chairman and a deputy chairman. Yeah, here you find in Lok Sabha there is speaker and a deputy speaker. In Rajya Sabha, the chairman exercises control over the functioning of the Rajya Sabha, and the vice president is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. And the Rajya Sabha chairman also includes, the first duty is to maintain discipline in the house. Second duty is to facilitate discussion. Third duty is to give members, every member in the house, a chance to speak. And one more which is not mentioned in your book, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha has to see that the dignity of the member of the house has to be kept. So these are the chairman, and in the absence of the chairman, deputy chairman takes over the duty. Now we come into the main subtopic which we all are eagerly waiting, that is, how does the parliament make a law? In our country, who is empowered to make law? Simple. Not you, not me. It is the parliament who is empowered to make laws. To formulate them, a certain system has to be adopted. This system is known as the lawmaking. Now, what are the procedures of lawmaking? Now, before I get into the procedures, there are two types of bill that are primarily introduced in the House of the Parliament. The two types of the bills are, one, money bill, other one is the ordinary bill. Now, in certain books it is written that there is one more bill called private bill, which is not mentioned in the Maharashtra textbook, but in the ICSE book they have mentioned it. The third bill, which is called as private bill, which is introduced. Now, how does the bill becomes a law? What are the procedures? Let us see it. And now let us go with the procedures. How does a bill become a law? The first reading, this is the first stage of converting bill into a law. That is first reading. The minister of the concerned department or ministry or the member of a particular parliament presents the bill briefly, explains its structure while presenting it. This is called first reading. In the first reading, they just start discussing the pros and cons of that particular bill. They criticize it, they get into discussion, and then they go on to the second stage, that is second reading. There are two stages of the second reading. In the first stage, the objectives of the proposed bill are discussed, and the members in the House express their opinion on it. The supporter of the bill gives favorable opinion, while the opponents discuss the defects and the faults of the bill. After the discussion within the House, as per the requirement, the bill is sent to a committee of the House. That's called committee stage, which is not clearly given in your book. In your Maharashtra textbook, Maharashtra board textbook, it is not given. It's called committee stage, where the committee of the experts sit together, they go on discussing, and the committee reports consisting of instructions and recommendation is sent to the House in order to make the bill flawless. Now, the second phase of the second reading begins. In this phase, the bill is discussed clause by clause. Members suggest changes. After this, the voting is taken in the House. This goes to the third stage, that is the third reading. The bill is discussed briefly during the third reading. Voting is taken for approving the bill. If the bill gets an assent by required majority, or the majority of the people are in favor of this bill, then it is considered to be passed by the House. The bill undergoes the same procedure in the other house. For example, if the bill is taken in the Lok Sabha, once it is passed in the Lok Sabha, then the bill is taken into Rajya Sabha, and they follow the same procedure: first reading, second reading, committee stage, third reading, and then they are put to vote. And then once they are put to vote, majority are in favor of it, then the bill is considered to be passed by the House. Now, then what happens? It's very simple. After getting the concern from the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the bill is further sent to the President. And if the President signs it, the bill becomes the law. If there are occurrence, the difference of opinion, if there is an occurrence of difference of opinion of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha over a specific bill, the future of the bill is decided in the joint meeting of both the houses. Like maybe the Rajya Sabha has passed, but the Lok Sabha has some issue. Then what happens? Then both the houses come together, they have a joint meeting, and then they come into a common consensus, and then they pass the bill. After the final signature of the President, the bill is converted into law, and thus a law is made. Yes, my dear students. Now I would like you to have a small activity. I want you all to find out. Every year in the month of February, the finance minister presents the national budget to the Lok Sabha. You have to find out from the YouTube what were the key discussions, what were the key features which was given by our finance minister. Second thing, what I would like you to do is find out the speaker, who is the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Second, who is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So these are the few of the activities which are very important related to this lesson. Not only that, if possible, you may collect the names of those 12 members which are nominated by the president and collect the information. What are the criteria for their selection? So, my dear students, thus I end this lesson over here. See you. Thank you.